There you have it, the finale of Makeine, Too Many Losing Heroines. Unfortunately, as of this moment, there is still no announcement for a second season, and that has me absolutely heartbroken. I have two shows this season are fighting for each other in the top of the season, which is Yatakurasu and Makeine, and neither one of them have another season announcement, and it really absolutely breaks my heart. But no, the finale itself did create a lot of concerns because this episode, the last episode, episode 12, is completely anime original. And thankfully they had the actual author on board to do the writing for it, so this is all from their hands. This is nothing where it's like pulling its own thing. But the concern that I had and many people had was, are they going to anime original to where it concludes the story and thus basically cementing the fact that we'll never get a second season? But it doesn't seem like, based on this episode, it really had anything that really kind of jarred the characters, which I will admit sort of does hamper what this episode can technically do because it's just mostly for comedy. I mean, there was a little bit in here with Yanami. I think they really try to do something with Yanami's character and sort of, she was very, very flirtatious to Nukumizu. Like, this is something that we really haven't seen before, where she is really kind of seeming like she's pushing at Nukumizu in this episode, and really does seem to be very flirtatious. Now, yes, at the very end of the episode, it kind of just does a, ha, that's Nukumizu, and this is the usual flirting where we're going to do that. We're not going to confirm anything, but still, it does sort of open the door a little more to what we kind of expect from Yanami. That it does seem like she is sort of trying to push Nukumizu to kind of make a decision here. So that is very interesting. But no, the overall episode was still solid. I still really enjoyed it. Just a lot of fun shenanigans. It really kind of went around and touched on every single character. It really felt like, okay, here's all the characters we have. Let's have fun with them. Unfortunately, I feel like they didn't really play off of Lemon or Komari very much. I really did feel like the two of them, despite being on this date with Yanami and Nukumizu, didn't really do much. Like, we had like one scene each of them very briefly, and then them both popping up at the very end, which kind of sucks because as a fan of, you know, I'm obviously number one Lemon for me, but Komari is a very, very close second for me, and not to have them really have anything kind of sucks. But we did get a lot of the teacher, and the sister was really great this episode. I love the sister. Her very briefly seeing that he's going to go to the park, and she pops her head up there and says, oh, you're going to go there? You want me to go with you? And he's like, no, you stay here and be a good girl. And I'm like, yeah, sure. This girl legit remote accesses his phone. Remote accesses his phone so she can see all the pictures that he's taking. And the moment that she loses track of this, like the remote drops because his phone dies, she just starts having like an absolute panic attack. Like, oh no, this is too soon. He's going to find somebody and I'm going to become an old lady. It's like, girl, she's just... Kaju girl, settle down, girl, just settle down. But damn, Yanami walking in on Karen and Sosuke licking that thing. Oh my gosh. I snooped the Japanese release of Makeine before the actual subtitles came out, and I ran to that scene and I immediately was like, WTF am I looking at? WTF am I looking at? Like the moaning, the slurping, and to top it all off, Sosuke's getting in on it. Like, yeah, I'm used to seeing the female characters doing that kind of stuff very suggestively to a popsicle or something like that. But the male character too? Like, I guess, like the whole troubling thing about that whole situation is the fact that Sosuke is joining in on it. Even though all that seems to bother Yanami and everybody else is that it's just like them two kissing each other. No, that was way more inappropriate than just that. That was... Wow. Like, yeah, that pretty much jumps up there as like the most lewd and inappropriate thing to have in this show. I mean, Lemon being completely topless, jumping on top of Nukumizu was pretty spicy as well, but that tops the cake right there. Holy crap. I also like Lemon where he's like, don't spin the thing. Oh, you could spin this? That was funny. But no, the teachers, like I said, I've kind of mentioned several times that I felt like the teachers have been kind of very sparsely used. Like, they're such a great pairing, and it seems like they're just underutilized. And I felt like, especially right when the whole thing with Lemon started happening, it felt like the nurse was going to be a central key part of this entire thing. The thought process I had was, okay, it's going to have Nukumizu. He's going to keep running into all these girls that have problems with their relationships, and you're going to have the teacher over here essentially trying to push them together. That was this episode. Like, my original theory on the nurse way back here, Konuki, My original theory back here was legit this episode. Like, this entire episode is her trying to push the two of them together, or at least, yeah, I would probably say Yanami. Push them all together. He's literally giving them all dates and tickets to go to the park and just trying to get all the daters to come in here together so that she can peep on them all. It's so great. Like, the first time she shows up to Nuku, she's like, yeah, you know what you want to do for a date? You want to give them meat. But I guess you're not old enough for that. Like, yeah, right, sure. You talk about all the time that when you were in this school, you did some crazy stuff. But no, just give them the date for them to go to, and then starts peeping on them. It's like, man, this is gonna make it more spicier. Yeah, you gotta get it done by the time the Ferris wheel ends. I'm like, holy crap, this lady, how is she allowed in this school? She's thirsted over watching this romance between all of them. And yes, we find out that she's pretty much given tickets to everybody. Like, Karen's there because of the tickets with Sosuke, and you have over here, apparently she gave them some Ayano, and they didn't go. It just, the teachers are crazy. And yes, Amanatsu, this girl needs help. Like, I'm immediately like, where do I sign up, lady? Where do I sign up? This lady has, like, no luck with men whatsoever. She's talking about how she took her standards down to the idea of just having money in the bank, and she still can't land a man. It's like, she's literally that character. But yeah, the brief scene that we had of Shikaya was absolutely fantastic. And again, it is telling that this is, again, an anime original that was wrote for this episode. That... yeah, they throw in a ribbon joke. Like, this is the point which we all realize. I'm guessing there was no really mention of it during the light novels telling or something like that. Maybe it might have been, but especially with anime adaptation, there's a lot of people noting the idea that their uniforms are weird because it has like 4 ribbons on it. And so, yeah, you have this whole scene with Nukumizu and Shikaya, and Tiara shows up, and the first thing she does is, you have to button this up. Here, let me get it for you. Gosh, what is with all these stupid buttons? It's almost like the author going, yes, I see it. I see the feedback. Yeah, that's what I chose for their outfits. It's really good. Sue me. It is absolutely dorky. But no, the scene with Gyaro was great. Just her standing there like a zombie attack, like she's gonna bury him in a garden or something like that. It just, any scene with Shikaya, especially with her and Tiara, is just absolutely comedy gold. I just love the two of them. Like I've mentioned before, please second season. And if we hit the second season, please more of them. But no, overall, the date itself was fine. Again, I wish there was more Lemon and Komari. It just really feels like most of this date was kind of these little quick jab jokes here and there. The concept here is really how Yanami herself is, yes, coming to grips with the idea that she kind of, it seems like she has feelings for Nukumizu. There almost seems like a little bit of a push here that's happening, which I'm assuming that if the story goes on, that's the direction I'm assuming it's going to go. It's probably going to be Yanami and Nukumizu. Now, yes, I agree with a lot of people that I almost feel like I almost want this entire story to just be them having fun, them enjoying their youth. And I guess that's really kind of to the point of the final part of the episode, is really this idea of Nukumizu saying, you know, look, you don't have to rush. The whole idea here is they're trying to create this fake date. This fake boyfriend is taking Yanami out. She's getting all these pictures, this actual date that's happening. And then, yes, eventually they find out that Kenan's there, so it's not like they can really post the pictures. It's all kind of ruined. But it really is just them kind of going out and trying to make this fake date until eventually getting to this point where Nukumizu is going, dude, you don't have to do this. Like, do you really have to do this? Well, you wanted me to have a boyfriend. So you're saying that you don't want me to have a boyfriend. No, it seems like there's a conflict that's happening where Nukumizu doesn't mind hanging out with Yanami, which is kind of a big plus for them. Like, for their relationship as friends, this is a big stepping point to the overall story, if becomes canon to the story, really. Is this idea of Nukumizu being okay with Yanami around him, that he's actually accepting to have friends. This is something that I brought up with the last episode with Komari, where we have kind of established this idea that Nukumizu thought that he was very similar to Komari because he assumed that Komari doesn't like to be around people, that she likes to be kind of secluded. But they're not really similar because Komari is alone but doesn't want to be alone, where Nukumizu is alone but is okay with being alone. And again, this almost feels like one of those moments where he's accepting the idea of, yes, he's kind of perfectly fine with being around Yanami. She's no longer annoying. Now, I think that's always been the case, but it's one of those moments of, it's really him admitting it to Yanami. So it's still cute in the end, but yeah, some fun little moments here and there, like the whole thing with the fauna. Yeah, like, it's just like me. He's like, right here it says that it dies and it goes extinct because it leaves no offspring. So yeah, that kind of fits you, because you and your relationship problems, her thinking about Karen all the time, and her whole fictitious character that she creates for posting online is literally a boyfriend who has a job, works at a Makeine company in America, lives in America with a roommate, and eventually this big boobied woman shows up out of nowhere and she steals them all away. And it's Karen. Like, her entire story, her fictitious story about this boyfriend is ruined by a fictitious Karen. He's like, even in your daydreaming, you're getting rejected. It's super bad, but yeah, in the end, it wrapped up really cute. I love the little final moment where, yes, it does seem like the two of them are kissing. Based on Nukumizu's reaction afterwards, I don't think they're kissing. Them being that close face to face to each other on the Ferris wheel was a massive question mark. Like, I kind of assumed they were going to give us a context as to why she was staring at him for such an extended period of time, what exactly they were talking about. But it does kind of just turn those moments of her kind of pushing on him, so you're fine with being with me, and then eventually saying, well, I guess I don't have to find a boyfriend immediately. The other two girls showing up, then wanting to know what happened on the Ferris wheel, just for them to kind of blow it off as, no, nothing happened. What are you guys talking about? Oh, that's just like you, Nukumizu. That's the trouble with you, Nukumizu. That's just Nukumizu being Nukumizu. He's so clueless. And again, I think that's what kind of makes the chemistry between these girls and this guy is so great. Is this guy doesn't seem like he wants to have things. He has things and he accepts things, but at the same time, it's not like this guy seems to be getting the hints, especially from Yanami. The hints that Yanami is giving him is just completely blowing over his head. And it doesn't really, I think that's the great thing, is it doesn't feel like a clueless protagonist kind of thing where it really bugs me. It just feels like this guy just kind of just takes things as he goes along. And yes, a lot of things seem to kind of miss him, but not to the point where it feels like it's completely oblivious, to the point where it's frustrating. That's why I really like the chemistry of this series. And like I've said before, Nukumizu easily goes down as one of my favorite male protagonist series characters, especially for a rom-com like this that's dealing with some more heavier subjects, characters that are heartbroken, characters that are going through some really difficult points in their lives. He does such a great job of it. So, which is all kind of building up to me again, being very upset that we don't have a second season announcement. So hopefully soon, hopefully soon we'll get into second season announcement. Let them take their time. I'm always for them taking their time, especially with how gorgeous this series was. The director did a phenomenal job. I'm looking forward to their next works with the great job they did with this series. But that's it. That's my thoughts on the finale of Makeine, Too Many Losing Heroines. I thank you guys for joining me weekly for my impressions on this series. I had a lot of fun covering it, had a lot of fun clipping it. So if you like clips of Makeine, I made tons of them on Twitter. I think like 90% of my feed for the last like 6 weeks has been nothing but Makeine. I just have been having way too much fun clipping this series. It's just been that fantastic. And I look forward to fighting with myself as to where exactly on my list for my top of this season Makeine is going to go. And yeah, like I said before, just for like new series, easily probably going to top the chart. It's going to fight with like series with like Yatagarasu or something like that, but dang, it's probably solidified up there. But I had a lot of fun covering it. I'll definitely be doing a review of it. I'm not sure if I'll do a separate video just reviewing it. I'm pretty sure I will, because I usually like to do a full-on video review of series that are like topping my chart, but we'll see. But I thank you guys for watching this video. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button before you leave. Comment, let me know what you think of this series overall. Additionally, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe before you leave so you can get all my content. I'll be doing first impressions of all the shows of the coming season, as well as doing reviews and whatnot. So I appreciate you guys' support. And until next time, y'all take care.